What up, everybody? Sven Diesel here. Going to be tying up an ice Dub Frenchie. Got a prototype stealth hook right here. It's a competition barbless. It's a basically a straight shank nymph hook. This is a size 14, and I really like the packages that they will come in better. The magnetic ones, because my big fingers struggle getting in here. But I got a hook out. I'm just going to go ahead and throw a flat matte black tungsten bead on, get it in the vise, and this is basically just a Frenchie using just specifically I'm just using a lot of ice Dub. So I've got my nano silk loaded up. I'm going to go ahead and start my thread, building up a small taper, and I'm trying out a new camera to see how I like the quality, and it's going to be a lot easier, but oh yeah, look at this. This is Coq de Leon by Whiting Farms. I'm going to pull off about 6 of these and use it for the tail material, which, usually for the Frenchie I use pheasant tail, but I'm just trying to throw that on. That's not, just pheasant tail fibers or Coq de Leon or, hackle fibers, soft hackle fibers. It's a tail. And I'm going to leave it a little longer because these fibers just are straight as can be and look awesome. So we're going to go ahead and tie that in, making sure it's on the top of my shank there. I like that, so let's go ahead and trim out the excess. And for this, we're going to be tying in first. I'm going to put in some tippet, just some 6X tippet. This is what I fished with a few years ago. I had some extra, and so I'm going to tie it in for ribbing and making sure that it just kind of is on the top. Don't want to get tangled up in those tail fibers. And then I'm also going to add some Semperfli 0.1 millimeter. This is pink, and this stuff's pretty cool. They got a lot of different colors, pretty awesome colors in my opinion. And I'll tie that in, and so what I'll be doing is basically ribbing and then counter ribbing the body of the nymph. So we'll tie that in, making sure that the wire stays on top of the shank, working our way back, and I'll kind of end with my thread there at the tail. I've used a lot of this. I'm going to use blue in this instant. This is Ice Dub by Semperfli as well. I'll pull out just a little chunk of it, and I'm just going to spin it on. And sometimes if I take too big of a clump, it kind of clumps up, so I'm just going to separate it and then really kind of dub it onto the silk, and making sure it's kind of a little bit of a thinner noodle there towards the where I'm going to be tying it in the tail. But I'll work my way up the body, letting it get a little bit heavier up towards the bead, thus tapering the nymph using I got a little straggler there. And if it doesn't want to spin or dub onto your thread, just cut it out. Not too big a deal. Buggier is better. Now I've been doing the thread the one way, and so I'm going to take this tippet or the wire the opposite way that I was spinning my dubbing on, or my ice dub. And so there I'm counter ribbing my body, the ice dub. And I'm just segmenting it as I work my way up to the bead. And when I get to the bead, I'll just do a couple extra turns to kind of help seal the deal, lock the bead up in there, and go ahead and snip that out. Now, since I went the opposite direction, I'm going to go the same direction I did my body with the tippet here, because I was counter ribbing the wire, which counter ribbed the body, if that makes sense. So it's just going to be ultra durable, and work my way up. And I think that's a Lance trick using that tip. I don't know if he's the originator or who did it, but I liked it for this, and so we'll go ahead and cut that out once it's tied in secure. I'm going to use a gold Ice Dub hotspot, and load it on a little thicker, because the first wrap I'm going to kind of crank into that gap, and then thus wrap a couple more turns over the other wraps, and then we'll go ahead and secure it and do a few wraps in front, whip finish, and I'll do a double whip finish and we're just going to put a little bit of resin on here once we do the double whip finish and go ahead and cut our thread out. And then make sure whenever you're cutting that nano silk that you put good tension on the thread when you cut it, otherwise it could fray. But this will be the glue that holds it all together. I'll get a little bit that goes in between the bead and the eye stub, and then a little bit that goes on the eye stub. That's fine. Go ahead and cure it up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. I'm not going to count, but you get the deal. About 10 to 15 seconds. And there we go. That's it. Color combos are endless. Simplicity is amazing. Voila. I'm Vanna White, you know, showing that. So got a straggler. I'll cut that out. But I'll post some pictures, and hope you have fun tying that up. Good luck.